Today I'm rolling with the 2005 Suns, and this is a fan favorite both in 2K and in real life. If you lived through the 2000s, then there was no way that you weren't watching or at least talking about the run and gun Suns led by Steve Nash. And even throughout my childhood, I would say when I found basketball it was around 2003, and when I really actually got into it, it was around 2007. So in between that time, I wasn't following it like I follow it today, but I still knew about these Suns because they were just that popular. The 05 Suns went 62-20, they were ranked first in offense, but they were ranked 17th in defense and dead last in opponents' points per game. And so that's the thing I'm going to talk about later in the video, because this translates directly to 2K. Yes, they're one of the most fun teams in the game to use, but they can also be a gigantic headache because you have to outscore your opponent. And that was one of their biggest problems in real life, because if you remember following the run and gun Suns, they were so good and you always expected that at some point Nash and Stoudemire were going to be in the finals, they were going to win a championship, but this team, as popular as they were, never made the NBA finals. In this specific year in 2005, they actually made it to the West Finals and they lost in 5 games to the Spurs. And then they had that year in like 2006, or was it 2007, when you remember Robert Horry pushes Steve Nash into the side and then everyone gets up off the bench. And so from that, Amar'e Stoudemire ended up getting suspended and a couple of other people, so that really ruined the Suns' chances that year. And that was actually a rivalry that nobody ever talks about. It was a couple of years in the 2000s where the Suns and Spurs were always playing each other and the Suns just could not get past them. So how does this team translate over to 2K? Well, I actually have a lot of prior knowledge about this squad because I know you guys have heard me mention the the My League that I was running in 2K16, and although it was easy to score on this squad because they don't play a lot of D, boy were they hard to beat because they could score like crazy. And that's one of the things I really like about this team, is that they have offense everywhere and it's led perfectly by Steve Nash. So Nash not only can score, he can shoot, he can get to the rim, he has a nice little floater, but he has court vision out of this world. So when you throw passes to your teammates, most of the time they're not going to be doing that dumb animation where they fumble the ball, or when you do flashy passes that you're going to see at the end of this gameplay. That I actually came through clutch with that. Nash is just a perfect point guard to run with this squad. And this team is really perfect for you guys who are just growing up with basketball today, because they're running a small ball lineup and it's really typical of a team that you would see today, more so than one that you would have seen 10 years ago. So the starting lineup is Nash, Quentin Richardson, Joe Johnson, Shawn Marion, and Stoudemire. At bare minimum, all of them can at least shoot mid-range, but most of them can shoot threes. So Johnson and Richardson, definitely 3-point shooters. Marion, not so much, at least in my experience. I know in real life he could knock down that shot, but in 2K, maybe it's just his release. I absolutely despise it. But Marion is really versatile, so he's really a starting small forward. That's really the size that he has, but being that he's that power forward, again, he can distribute the ball, he can defend a lot of different people. And that kind of helps because yes, this team does lack defense, but when you're playing against people like I was playing against the Thunder here, they might want to put Kevin Durant at power forward, and for a lot of teams that would be an issue because you don't have a power forward that can guard him. So Shawn Marion is really good for those types of tasks. And then overall, with Steve Nash at the helms, this offense is just so much fun to run. And you've really got to make use of that, and I'm going to get to that when I start talking about what I don't like about this team. However, the second thing I really like about this team is Amar'e Stoudemire is, no pun intended, one of the most powerful power forwards I played with in this game. And I'm glad that I did this video so close with the Mavericks video with Steve Nash and Dirk, because it gives me kind of a point of comparison. So Nash is running both of those offenses and there's a dominant power forward on each of those, and it's just a different style of balls. So when I was playing with the Mavericks, you saw me doing a lot of pick and pops where I had Dirk Nowitzki fading so he could shoot the 3, and Stoudemire, I do hit a 3 with him in this gameplay, but that's not his strongest point. So yes, him and Nash, just like real life, you can kill the pick and roll with him, but his post game is crazy. I actually should incorporate some of the Warriors gameplay with this, because I did play the We Believe Warriors before this game and I just dominated this guy with Stoudemire. The post game is ridiculous, but you can just back people under the basket all day, pin them under the basket, get your rebound if you do miss a layup, and yeah, you can have the entire paint on lock with Stoudemire. And that's the difference between playing with this Steve Nash led squad and the Mavericks, because yes, Dirk, he's dominant as well, but it's less power with him and more finesse. So a lot of the times when I play with Dirk, I don't even really need Nash that much because I can give Dirk the ball anywhere and back my way in, and he has a ton of post fades that he has, and he can operate a little bit farther away from the basket, whereas Stoudemire, you're trying to get as deep as you can, so that's the main difference I would say there. Now, the only thing I don't like about this team, because they are very fun to play with, is that their defense is dreadful, and it can definitely give you a headache when you're playing against a team like OKC. As you can see, I'm playing the Thunder for like the 100th time in this series because everybody wants to play the Thunder, and this is one of the worst matchups that I could have gotten because Steve Nash can't guard anybody. He's not guarding anybody. There's nobody on the wings for defense. Stoudemire has some defense down low, and that's about it as far as defense on this roster. The guys coming off the bench like Barbosa and Jim Jackson, they're just there for shooting and offense in general. So I wasn't kidding at the beginning of this video when I was talking about how they were ranked dead last in opponents' points per game. You gotta outscore them because, okay, use this video for example. This guy has Westbrook and he has Harden in the backcourt. I can't hide Steve Nash anywhere on the perimeter, no matter who he gets switched on. That's a liability. He can't stay in front of Westbrook, he can't guard James Harden, he's way too small to guard Kevin Durant, so you're kinda on your own out there. The only good thing about this team's defense is that it is versatile, so like I said earlier, if he does run Kevin Durant at the power forward, or if I'm playing another team and they go small ball, which a lot of people like to do, you can defend that with Shawn Marion, and you know, that's okay, but like I said, that's really all you got there. Steve Nash is a huge problem, just like it was with the Mavericks. And for that reason, although this team is so much fun, I didn't find that I was playing with them so much because I think I legit got a headache from the few games I did play with them, trying to guard Baron Davis and guarding Westbrook and KD and whoever else you might run into with this Suns squad. And it's the same thing when you play against them, so I've had a couple of games against the Suns actually, and it's a lot of fun playing them because I know I can score at will. And it doesn't help that this game has the blow by animation where any player can blow by anybody as is, so when you have Steve Nash out there, you just don't really have a chance. But overall, I do like this team and I recommend them to you. They're 10 player, oh sorry, they're actually 9 players deep, which is, you know, that's better than you can say for a lot of historic teams because some of these guys only have like 7 usable players before you start getting to the John Smiths. So yeah, they have a nice bench. Stephen Hunter, he can't shoot free throws worth a damn, but he is your backup center. So if you do need 2 big men on the court, you can put Stoudemire at power forward and have Stephen Hunter at center. So you've got some options with this squad just in case you do need to play a different brand of basketball. And that's really all I got to say about this team. Hit the like button, comment, and sub if you enjoyed. Hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications on future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys with the next team.